Stop what you're doing right now. If you own a bottle of Chanel No. 5, if you've ever sprayed on Dior Sauvage, if you've ever rubbed a fancy, expensive cologne on your neck before a date, I need to tell you a secret. You have been willingly rubbing an animal's digestive waste onto your skin. Yes, that elegant, sophisticated, $1,000 scent that makes you feel like $1,000,000. It is built on a foundation of pure, unadulterated excrement. Take a look at this thing. It looks like a lump of dried concrete, or a piece of garbage washed up on the tide. Gray, waxy, and frankly, ugly. But this exact lump is worth more than $40,000 per kilogram. In 2021, a group of Yemeni fishermen found one that weighed as much as a grown man and walked away with over $1.5 million. It's called Ambergris. The ancient Chinese called it dragon's spit. The French call it gray amber. And it's the secret ingredient locked inside the world's most iconic perfumes. But here's the $1,000,000 question. Literally, what on earth is it? Are you ready for the truth? Ambergris is sperm whale excrement. That's not a metaphor. It's not a joke. It's the hardened waste of the largest toothed predator on the planet. And the moment it leaves the whale's body, it's black, soft, sticky, and it smells worse than the inside of a dumpster on a hot summer day. Biologists have literally described the fresh smell as more like the rear end than the front. So here's the insane part. That disgusting, fresh waste is the raw material for your luxury fragrance. But to understand how something so vile becomes something so precious, we have to go back to the beginning. And it starts with the whale's favorite meal, giant squid. Sperm whales dive thousands of feet into the freezing, pitch-black abyss to hunt these monsters. And when they catch one, they swallow it whole. No chewing, no cutting, just gulp. But squid have a secret weapon. Their beaks. Hard, sharp, pointy beaks made of keratin. The same stuff as your fingernails, but much thicker. And they're completely indigestible. Inside the whale's gut, they act like shards of glass. Left alone, they'll puncture its organs from the inside. A slow, agonizing death. So the whale's body does something genius. It starts secreting a thick, waxy, oily substance, and layer by layer, it wraps those sharp beaks in wax. Think of it like a pearl. An oyster coats a grain of sand to protect itself. A sperm whale coats a squid beak to protect its own guts. But this is a much bigger problem than a grain of sand. Over years and years, the mass grows larger and larger until it becomes a massive intestinal stone, a giant ball of squid beaks held together by wax. And eventually, it gets so big the whale simply can't hold it anymore. One way or another, that lump is coming out. So the whale releases it into the ocean. Freshly expelled, it's the color of wet asphalt. And because the wax makes it lighter than water, it floats. And then, it just drifts. For years, for decades, sometimes for over a century. And during that incredibly long voyage, nature goes to work. The sun bleaches it, the salt water corrodes it, the wind and the waves tumble it, the air oxidizes it, the color changes. Slowly, painfully slowly. From pitch black, to dark gray, to light gray, and finally to pure, chalky white. And here's the magic. When it's black, it reeks. But by the time it turns white, the stench is gone. In its place, a sweet, earthy, marine scent. Complex, deep, ethereal. The raw, smelly waste has matured into a fragrant treasure. But that raises the real question. Why is a fragrant rock worth a fortune? Why do perfumers lose their minds over it? The answer comes down to 3 words. The fixative agent. See, perfume molecules are volatile. They want to evaporate. That's why cheap perfume vanishes an hour after you spray it. But ambergris contains a compound called ambrane, and it works like a molecular anchor. It grabs those flighty scent molecules and holds them tight, slowing down their escape. The result? A perfume that lasts all day. And it's not just about longevity. Ambergris has a scent all its own, a blend of tobacco, pine, musk, and sea salt. But it doesn't overpower the other ingredients. It elevates them. It makes a rose smell rosier. It makes a jasmine smell warmer. This is exactly why Chanel No. 5 became legendary. Its creators used ambergris to give it that undefinable, addictive depth that no one could copy. Now, because natural ambergris is so insanely rare and expensive, the perfume industry did something clever. They invented a synthetic version. Today, almost every perfume you buy uses a man-made chemical called Ambroxan. It's cheap, it's consistent, and it doesn't involve any whale butt. But here's the secret the perfume houses don't advertise. Ask any chemist and they'll tell you. The synthetic stuff is good, but it's not the real thing. Natural ambergris has a depth, a warmth, a complexity that no laboratory has ever perfectly replicated. The natural stuff is still the holy grail. So, let's trace the whole journey one more time. It begins as a biological defense mechanism, a whale's gut, desperately protecting itself from a sharp squid beak. It becomes a painful, stinking gutstone. It's expelled into the ocean as black, sticky sewage. It floats for decades, bleached by the sun, beaten by the waves. It turns white. It turns fragrant. And eventually, it washes up on a beach, gets picked up by one lucky person, and ends up dissolved in a perfume that costs more than most people's rent. So the next time you spray on that expensive fragrance, remember this. You're wearing a piece of the ocean. You're wearing the result of a whale's survival story, from feces to fragrance. That, my friends, is the strange, beautiful, and slightly disgusting truth behind your favorite perfume. Thanks for sticking around to the end. And next time you smell something amazing, just remember, somewhere out there, a whale had an upset stomach.